Start your engine.
You better call the meeting to order. Call the roll, please.
Schmidt.
Here.
Alt.
Here.
Bill.
Present.
Curtis.
Here.
Hanson.
Yeah.
And Raymond is absent.
Okay. Anybody got public comments? No public comments. Randy, you're up.
Anita called me a couple weeks ago asking about the park next door and the possibility of providing an easement and whether that would cause any issues. I went back to the insurance company and, you know, their thinking is your only real exposure here is the parking lots. The parking lots being used as a parking lots. Even their underwriters couldn't find anything to worry about there. So I think they're all right with all that, as long as there's no change in exposure, which it doesn't sound like there's going to be. And then item 2, we're working on the renewal, policy renewal, and they're wanting, I went out and remeasured all the buildings yesterday. I don't know why they expected that they're bigger or smaller than they were 10 years ago, but I went and remeasured everything and took new pictures, and I don't expect any real big changes out of that, but they wanted all updated values and all that kind of stuff, but otherwise it has been relatively fine.
That's good. Is that it?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Susie, you're up.
We are ready for our benefit fair next week. That will be, we'll be here Thursday and Friday from 9 to 3 for the employees to come through and learn about the benefits, get some goodies. We have some baskets we're going to be raffling off for the employees as well, so when they come through, they'll get a raffle ticket. And then we have our open enrollment meeting scheduled for the Medicare Advantage retirees for December 10th. And letters have gone out to them with what their premiums are going to be and when the meeting is going to be. And we will be here on that day as well. Other than that, we will be quiet.
It was way too short.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I probably should have checked with you on this before the meeting, but the retirees that are under 65, that should be here next Thursday and Friday, do they know that too? They do. Okay,
That
good.
notification sent out to them. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So over 65, that's for December. The under have had notification sent out that will be here Thursday and Friday next week.
Yep, good. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Have a great day.
Oh, is Kyle here?
No?
Did he get all of his issues with the 16 budget done?
I haven't talked to Kyle about the budget.
I haven't heard anything. He was checking on some things.
He highlighted a few things, but nothing was done.
Maybe send a motion to the full board, and if there's an issue, it can come out there. I don't know what else you do.
I guess we just need to
We need to
have a
have it.
motion to send the 16 budget to the board.
As it's been on file,
Yeah, have to be, gotta be on the week.
I would move to approve this 2016 budget.
Ernie seconded. Call the roll. I like the roll. I don't like that eye shit.
Schmidt? Alt?
Yes?
Bill?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, how about the audit? Fiscal year 15 audit.
Yep, work has started, so barely get done with one thing and then there's another thing. Preliminary testing, the auditors are going to be here December 14th through the 18th. They'll be over in the circuit clerk's office doing her testing for 2 of those days, and they're hoping not to be here Friday the 18th, but they're scheduled regardless. The full audit team is going to be here January 11th through the 22nd. That is, again, the second and third week of January. They're scheduled for 2 full weeks. Other than Tuesday. Tuesday they'll go out to Highway because it'll be the full board meeting in this room. They're usually in this room. I've got that scheduled for them. But they'll be out at Highway on that Tuesday when we're in the full board meeting. Everybody, I think, has gotten all their request lists right in your offices of all the paperwork they need from each of the elected officials and office holders. So that paperwork is out. I have all the risk assessment grids received. I'll try and have those done. I like to get them to them before preliminary testing so that when they come out, they've already got a head start. So my goal is to have that to them before November 30th. So I'll have all those taken care of. So here we go.
So that's all our preliminary.
Preliminary, yeah. I mean, the risk assessment has to do with all our internal controls, and there are grids regarding every process and what our checks and balances are to make sure that our financial statements are materially correct. So I have to actually respond to, you know, it's pages and pages regarding every process, payroll process. And then what they do is, when they come in December, that's their internal controls testing, they'll take those grids and everything I say we do to check and balance and everything, they'll go through and look for all those checks to make sure we're actually doing it. So it's kind of step one.
That is?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Department head reports. Mindy, you're up.
Everybody has a copy of the current tax or payments from the state, and we're within about $1,500 of what we received total last year, so that's good. I was surprised our income and sales tax that we received so far both up compared to last year. Now there have been emails back and forth with the county treasurer, and we're hearing that the use tax reimbursements to the counties are in a backlog. So, and as you can see, we've not received any use tax reimbursement from the state since August, and that is statewide. And you know, we're hearing that it's in a backlog, and you know, we'll get the reimbursement, but not sure when. So. We also had our county tax sale last Monday in October, and that went well.
Yeah?
Yeah. And that's all I have.
Yeah, our local village had one of the representatives there, and he warned them not to count any money until January. So it's not just us.
Yeah.
So,
But we did get income tax here in November, you know,
Yeah.
just yesterday, so that's still coming through.
it's amazing, ain't it? I'm surprised. Lisa?
I don't have anything, Ken.
Ida?
Working on legislation in Springfield last week, and this week also with the 911 conference, but there's 2 counties that are projected. Bureau County is one of them. They can last about 6 more weeks, and then they will be closing their doors. Their 911 center, they're actually giving out numbers to the public as far as numbers to be able to dial after that time. And Christian County is about 2 months into going under also. Christian County's actually done some layoffs. So we're really hoping that House Bill 4305, it could, I just got an email at 9:07 from our legislative committee chairman that says that it could be up for potential vote on Tuesday. And every time there's a vote like that, we always have legal negotiations. So I won't be going with the legislation team on Tuesday. But we're hoping we met with Representative Bradley, which was our biggest, he was our chairman of our committee last spring, and he's really pushing to try to get this through. They tried trailer bills, they're trying different avenues, but right now they're just trying, and House Bill 4305 is no fuel tax, lottery, and 911. And there's some other stuff that they've tried to put in on it also. So senators are supposed to send a letter today to a representative down south that's going to do a presentation on Tuesday to try to help to get this through. Ronner has told all the Republicans that they're not allowed to vote for this, that they have to vote against it. So we're trying to hope that all the Democrats show up and the Democrats are able to push this through, because Ronner will not allow his people to vote for it. So we're trying to do the best we can. These January 1st, the only income that we'll be having come in will be our December revenue. That will be coming in the month of January, and then if nothing gets passed, if this doesn't all happen, we will have no revenue coming in effective the end of January, I guess is the way to put it. So, and we solely are off wireline and wireless. We've lost wireless. Our last check was in August that we got our wireless money, and so we've lost $15,000 a month since then, and we're just continuing to go down. And we're not the only center. It's just happening all over the state only, except for the city of Chicago. They're very well taken care of. They don't have to worry about anything else. So that's kind of my update on exactly where we're at. I project that, maybe after the radio communications coming at 10 this morning, but while we're running major equipment issues, we probably go to maybe if we can just really do nothing but tear bills. But we don't know what's going to happen.
Okay. That it? Thank you. You're up.
We got our lower order each of the sessions, so as far as taking the complaints till the end of the month. We got a tentative one multiplier from the state on, and so that is good news there. And last big policy procedure and tax, I've talked about Senate Bill 1488. I don't know if you want me to rehash that again.
Wouldn't hurt.
In case anybody doesn't know about it, I know the Paxton Record had a pretty good article, big article on it yesterday online, so I assume it'll be in print this week or next. Not sure. Well, basically what it is, it was originally a veto session bill to clean up some language in the general homestead part of the property tax code. And Senator Barbara Flynn Curry added an amendment to that there's two sections to it. One pertains specifically to Cook County. The second part of the amendment pertains to the rest of the state. It basically states that if this bill passes by board resolution, county board resolution within 6 months of the bill passage, you could raise the general homestead exemption from 6,000 to 14. And it would take board action to do that. We would have that option. Our organization, some see it as it's probably would pass in their counties because of such a big political football trying to get reelected with heated county board races. But for us, and I think for a lot of counties in the state with what's going on, it would be a financial disaster to do that. Now, if it leads to making it mandatory, some counties do it and some don't, does it leave the door open to make it eventually mandatory? Yes. So just off the top, you're looking, in simple terms, you're looking at another $70 million off our taxable assessed valuation on top of the 50 already for general homestead. And the dollar amount, what you're looking at, just keep it simple. Most of our tax rates are right around 1. Some are below, some are 7 and 8, same if you're rural, but if you're in town, it's 1 and a little higher. So with the $8,000, you're looking at $800 reduction in tax bill cost for the 8,800 people that get the exemption. You're looking at $7 million of lost tax dollars across the board. To make that up, it would take a tax rate increase of 1.677, just keep it simple across the board. So if you had a 10 tax rate, you'd have a 11.677, and the majority of that burden would fall on people who don't get the exemption, obviously, which would be farmers and business owners. So it just, plus it reduces our taxable EAD from 495 million to 425 million. So that makes that even bigger hit on that. And if you're a cap rate, which our general fund is, it's just a loss in revenue, plain
Well, the only ones that'd be able to, realistically, the only ones that'd be able to raise their rates would be the libraries and the fire departments.
Pretty much.
So,
A few schools could recoup some of it.
boy, there ain't too many that ain't maxed out, is it?
Huh?
Is there many schools that aren't maxed?
There's a lot of schools that are closed on the ed fund, but there's some that aren't. Waseca's not closed, Something Clifton's closed, Clifton West isn't closed, but like the smaller district systems will close. Dominance will close, that kind of stuff. But so if you make up that loss in revenue with the truth of taxation and raise your rate, it just hammers everybody else.
Yeah.
That much harder to make up the loss.
It's amazing how ugly this keeps getting, isn't it?
And it's just a veto session, basically a shell vote, some language and they threw that in there, and it came out, it's out of committee, it passed out of committee. Straight party line. So, just kind of what Nigel was talking about, that the Republicans are voting against it, and Democrats are voting for it, and they've got the majority.
You have a big enough majority to pass the veto.
They do, that if every single person shows up, they can answer it, but everybody has to show up, Democrat-wise.
It's amazing. Thank you. Sheriff.
Well, the good news first. The $50,000 for 2016 for squad cars, I've looked into it and I've been able to locate 2 squad cars and I'll be able to get them equipped and marked and on the road for under that $50,000, which is a good thing. Earlier this week, we've got the 3 unmarked cars. One of them, the one that's, let me think now, well, it's 13 years old with almost 150,000 on it. Transmission went out on it. We've got to keep it running and on the road, so that's going to be a hit to me. I've looked at my line items, and I think I can probably finagle getting that taken care of. But that being said, the other 2 cars, one has 160-some thousand on it, the other one has 200,000 on it, the other 2 squads. So my anticipation is, with Murphy's Law, if it's going to happen, it is. I'm thinking that keeping those 2 going this next year, we're going to have some major money to put into them. Which brings me to my request. I guess if you don't ask, you don't get it. I'm not asking for anything today, but as this committee meets throughout the next fiscal year, if there's times where it looks like there's a little bit of extra money somewhere, one of those unmarked cars, I buy them used with a little bit of miles on them. I do have some money in the public safety fund, in the police vehicle fund, and I'm trying to get a decision from legal mind as to whether I can pay for maintenance out of that or if it has to be for the purchase. Because if I can pay maintenance out of it, if we start having transmissions and that in a lot of these older vehicles, that's one revenue source I could use to pay for that. However, it's going to deplete it to where the chance comes up. So I know back in 2011, that happened with the board. The finance committee at that time looked and saw that there was some monies available, and they purchased an additional squad car for the sheriff's office that year. So that's my only request is, as the 2016 fiscal year goes on, if there's, if you want to add it to your list of things that need to be looked at, that would be something that I would be willing to talk about to get one of those unmarked vehicles replaced.
We just hope for a mild winter.
Yeah.
Maybe some of these other things will, let us know, maybe things won't get done.
Yeah, so other than that, I municipal, judicial, I mean, our calls are still up. We're running about 3% higher than last year. Our daily population is up, which means our food cost is up for Aramark. I do have one deputy that's off on workman's comp right now. I've talked to the state attorney, and we're going to look at seeing if we can maybe recoup. Basically what happened was there was an individual that, domestic situation, we had to, or the deputies had to fight him out of the scene to get him in the car, and then once we got to the jail, the second fight occurred with staff. So we're looking at the possibility of maybe recouping some of those costs for the workman's comp claim from that inmate, but Mr. Devine's looking into that as to if and how we can do that. But other than that, we had our little rashes of bomb threats so far. Usually they happen the first month of school, but for whatever, we were a couple months into the school year when these came about, so that's it.
It's funny, you hear all the news about people complaining about cops, but they never put in the paper when one of your officers gets hurt doing his job, trying to stop violence.
Yeah.
That is sad. That it?
That's all. Any questions?
You're up.
Well, if you've been listening to the news media lately, there's, especially this week, have been a lot of news media on public health across the state. There are approximately 92 health departments in the state of Illinois. We were one of the news media releases out on one of the, I think it was ABC News, so that 46 of those health departments across the state were laying off staff. Yesterday they did an actual IPA day count, and there are 48 health departments who are laying off staff across the state. That's a lot of them are having trouble making payroll right now. Can't keep services open. So they've made other cuts prior to that. Reducing work hours, all that kind of stuff, but now they're actually laying off staff. That's very unfortunate. The consequences of that may touch us. As you know, we're not in that situation right now. If you look at my cash balance, you can see that we have money to operate for the next 5 or 6 months. Even if we didn't have income, and we do have income coming in. For example, next month, all the food licenses are due, so that alone will bring in $44,000. We have other federal grant monies are coming in. Flu shot money's coming in. We're okay. But the consequences of surrounding counties having to lay off staff and not being able to do as thorough of investigations on communicable diseases will definitely affect the counties that surround them as well.
Yeah.
So the consequences may hit us as well too. At this point in time, I haven't had any requests to send nurses to other counties for help, but I anticipate that could happen as well. So we'll take that on a case-by-case basis and make a determination on whether or not assisting another county would benefit Iroquois County, and what our consequences would be if we did.
Is that free gratis if you have to do that?
If we do that, it would be through the ITMES, which is the Illinois Public Health Mutual Aid System. And some of the counties would be able normally to help recoup some of those costs. But if they're laying off staff because they can't do that, they won't be able to assist us financially. So yeah, it would probably be gratis. So we'll make that determination. That may not happen, but we'll make that determination as it happens. But my first priority is to keep the jurisdictional residents of Iroquois County safe, so whatever we have to do that, we will do that. We had a Board of Health meeting last night, and I reported to the Board of Health that to date, as of yesterday, the state owes us from services for July, August, and September, they owe us approximately $84,000. Well, it's $84,588.23 to be exact. So that will continue to accumulate. We're able to, we have enough reserve funds to keep going.
But I anticipate that the longer this goes on, a lot more money that they're going to owe us, and then, you know, even when the state budget gets signed, we're not going to get money right away. It's going to take 30 to 50 days to see anything.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they're also talking about sweeps today because our funds that are building up there, so it shows that we don't need them. So they're talking about doing big sweeps, so, you know, the 45,000 we're in.
Absolutely.
We may not get it. Because the state's got to pay that money.
one of the funds we like, I anticipate, your guess is as good as mine, but I anticipate that the tobacco grant money. So we're not doing a lot of tobacco grant activity right now. I mean, we're doing what we have to do to maintain the grant and to fulfill the grant requirements, but we're not doing the above and beyond and extra stuff right now because last year, there were big talks about losing that one. You remember when they shut down Split Line and all that kind of stuff. So,
That's what you do with the grant.
So I'm cognizant that there will probably be some sweeps.
And when we get sweeps, we're not available for federal funding, but then when it's the next generation, they're only in 5 years. And they've closed it for about 3 years.
You know, the sad thing is, if they don't fix this on the state level, in 5 years, what's it going to be? I mean,
When's it going to be here?
yeah. I mean, sooner or later, it's not getting better, and sooner or later, if they're doing terrible things to you when it's this bad, what are they going to do 5 years from now if they don't get this under control? You know. And I'm watching other counties and looking what they're putting out for their budgets, and we're not in good shape around us. I mean, I looked at one neighbor last night, and their numbers ain't right. They're going to be $500,000 short on a prayer. That ain't a budget. That's a mistake. I mean, we got to be. I mean, we're all working good together, and we need to keep doing this because this is going to get uglier. Is that it? Okay, we're up to Mr. Blanc. Anything?
Nothing. No.
I think we should be asking Mr. Devine to do something at the full board, explain what the hell's going on so the public
Yes,
will know.
it's been in his hands for a while now.
Last month he was here and he said that he thought something would be coming up. So, we're up to claims, guys. Anybody look at them?
Brett did.
Make a motion.
What's that about? That's one of the mills. Yours in case you check this up.
Oh, that's probably where he got to the warrant.
No, those were stale dated checks that Yvonne sent to I don't know what the program's called, you know, the stale, to the state, where she's got to send them out. Those old circuit clerk or juror checks that had never been cashed, they were actually from the old system. They were sitting in suspense on the new system. And she was at the point in time where she had to send them to the state so that they can do the, you know, the treasurer's office goes and tries to find the people, so that's what that is. It's offset by, you know, there's a negative in voiding the check, so the bottom line expense is zero, but in order to pay the claim, you had to issue it to an expense account.
When somebody don't cash a check that costs a lot more, say it was a $25 check, you
Right.
have a lot more money in cost when
Right.
they don't cash the check,
Exactly.
even though they think they're doing you a
Exactly.
favor.
Exactly. That's why I always tell people, don't wait 5 years to try and find these people and check up on them. You know, like every 6 months, be looking at your checks and be calling them, and they might have an option to still find it.
Make a motion.
Second?
Earn, or not earning.
Second reading.
Schmid,
Yeah.
Alt,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Curtis, Hanson.
Yes. Then you have to decide on that.
Any old business? Anybody got anything old?
Nothing.
Anything new?
I move we adjourn.
Charlie moves we adjourn. Boy, that snapped my mind right open, Charlie. I knew you right from the start. Do we have a second?
Give it to her.
All in favor, say aye.